what are some of the good purposes of pain in recovery? So what you're doing is the child coming out of complex trauma sees all pain as bad. And so as soon as they experience pain, they just want to avoid it. What you're beginning to go is there's some pain that, yes, I need to resolve, I need to get rid of. I can resolve it and I can grow from it. But there's some other pain that I might not be able to resolve right away, but that doesn't make it bad. Actually, some good stuff is going to come out of it in the long run. So let me just look at kind of a new perspective on pain that's part of our reparenting process. So number one, if I'm in pain, I need to go, okay, is it my external circumstances? Is that the source of my pain? So you think of people in slavery, people in racism, discrimination, sexual discrimination for women, created very painful environments. You look at people where there's abuse in a marriage, or you look at children who are acting out, and it's, because no parents are connecting with them. And so they're just angry, they're hurt. And so if there's pain happening, go, is this my external environment? Can I fix this? Is there something that needs to change in my external environment? But then, is this pain happening because of my internal environment? And that's often what it is. So let me give you some examples. Many people, when they come into recovery, they grow very consistently for a while. But then all of a sudden they seem to level out. They seem to get stuck. They just start going through the motions of recovery, but their heart's not in it like it was before. They're kind of in this state of inertia or in a rut. They're just coasting. So they're not growing anymore. They've just kind of leveled out. And you go, what needs to happen to get them growing again? Often it's pain. And what to me is important is this. Often what happens when a person starts to level out, they think they're just coasting. They just think they're staying at the same level. When really they tend to start sliding back to old behaviors, to their old default settings without even realizing it. And before they know it, they're in trouble. And so what I have found for many, many people is when they are coasting, often something painful, could be in their external world, could be from their internal world, but something painful all of a sudden gets their attention and gets them to go, I need to get back into wholehearted recovery again. I need to get back into taking care of my 12 needs and doing the things necessary to heal and grow. There's another piece that's connected to this, but it goes like this. Most people that I deal with, and I've had times in my own life where you find yourself in a behavior that you know is unhealthy, but you can't stop yourself. You can't find the willpower to say enough, no more. So think of a person who's in an unhealthy relationship. They know it's unhealthy. They know it's not meeting their needs, but they just can't bring themselves to leave. Or think of the person who comes home every night from work and they know they need to do some recovery stuff. They need to connect with people, but they just get in the habit of vegging in front of the TV and they just can't break the habit. Or the person that just starts drinking too much and they know they are, but they just can't stop themselves. So what do you do with that person? They just can't muster up the willpower to make a decision to change. Usually they need some extra pain to get them to go, okay, I got to change. It pushes them. It gives them that extra motivation and nudge to go back into letting go of unhealthy things and to behavior that is healthy. I remember once going to a chiropractor. I had a very, very tight muscle in my back that was just spasming constantly and causing me great pain. And I went to the chiropractor, and what he did was stuck his elbow into the kind of the end of the muscle. and put tremendous pressure on it, and it increased the pain greatly. It was just excruciating. Almost felt like you're going to black out. And then all of a sudden the muscle relaxed. And I went, what happened there? And he said, sometimes when a muscle is spasming and it can't let go, it needs extra pain to overwhelm it, and then it lets go. And that, to me, is a metaphor for what many of us go through when we're in a situation where it's causing us pain, but we can't let go. Sometimes extra pain, we can finally let go. There's another time in my life when pain has been ongoing pain that I can't resolve, has been a positive thing. So what happens for much pain is you can just very quickly see a resolution to the problem that fixes the pain. But sometimes you get into situations that are causing pain and you can't find a quick resolution. It's very frustrating. All of the options that you consider don't work. So what happens? It forces your brain to think deeper. It forces your brain to move out of its little box of normal solutions to look at different perspectives, to search for other solutions. It pushes you to grow. And so if my life just stayed smooth, relatively easy, I could stay in this very superficial box of solutions. Pain has forced me. Pain that can't be resolved with those easy solutions has forced me to think deeper, to grow, to gain wisdom I would never have gained otherwise. So it's like you get to a point where your solutions you have that you've tried are not working, and there's a desperation that drives you to look outside of your normal box. And that's why many people come to our YouTube channel. Every solution they've tried is falling apart, and they're so desperate, they start looking and they come across our channel. That's what I'm talking about. There's another piece connected to this. So often when my life is easy, I begin to just assume that all the tools I'm using, my approach to life must be good. But really, I could be living off of lies. I could have a very faulty foundation to my life, but that will never be exposed because everything is going smoothly. Everything is going easy. So it's like a person that builds their house on sand. Everything looks fantastic about the house until a major storm comes and it exposes the faulty foundation. Or a ship that is built very cheaply. The structure is not good. It does not have the really good quality stuff that a ship needs as far as ballast and keel and structure. As long as the seas are smooth, it looks like a wonderful ship. It could be $1 million ship and it looks like it's the best ship in the world. It's when the first storm comes. It exposes the weaknesses of the ship. And so that's what happened in my life. When life was going smoothly for years and my existing skills, my existing tools, my existing belief system seemed to be handling every situation, I thought I had built a solid, wonderful life. It looked really good. Then my health fell apart, and then everything started falling apart. And what did that pain do? It revealed that my foundation was not as solid as I thought. It revealed that I had built my life on some lies. I had built my life with very superficial tools. It pushed me to challenge the foundation. It pushed me to deconstruct everything about my life until I got to a solid foundation, until I got to a solid structure for my life, until I got to tools that handled all the exigencies of life. That pain pushed me to get a solid foundation. Then after I was sick and I started back to work, I worked on a tree farm where they grew spruce trees. So when the spruce trees were about a year old, the farmer would take a U-shaped blade and put it behind the tractor and go down the row of spruce trees. And I went, "What are you doing?" And he said, I'm chopping off all the roots of the spruce trees." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because right now the roots are just growing very shallow and there's not a whole lot of roots. That tree will not survive transplant very well. I need to cut off the roots, and that will cause the tree to be in pain and to panic, and it will create even more roots and it will drive them down deeper. And that will create a strong, healthy tree." So that's what pain can do. It forces us to drive roots down deeper and to get a healthier, stronger life. There's another purpose in pain. So what I realize from some pain is it's not my external world. It's something unhealthy in my internal world. So yes, I got some anger issues here. I got some fear issues here. I got some shame issues here. I got some abandonment issues here. I got some negativity. That's the reason for this pain that I'm experiencing. And it exposes the areas of my character that are unhealthy. And it causes me to come to a point where I go, am I willing to change, to refine my character, to do the hard work necessary to get healthy? And the pain basically says, yes, I'll do the hard work because I don't want to stay where I am. It's too painful and getting increasingly painful to stay here. I need to change. I love the metaphor, the illustration of refining metal. So metal goes into the fire, into the crucible, and under extreme heat, what begins to happen is all the impurities within the metal separate from the metal and rise to the surface. And then they skim off the impurities, and it creates more pure gold, silver, etc. But it's the heat, it's the pain that exposes the impurities, that separates them, and that enables you to get rid of them. And that's what pain does. Now, there's one other thing that to me has a positive effect from pain. What I found when I went through my really, really dark, painful time in my life is it led me to kind of a core existential type question, which was, most of my life I had thought I was a very loving person. I thought I gave, and that's who I was. What I didn't realize is that often I was a loving person because it was easy. I was a loving person because I got validated for it. It was a loving person because I got some positive benefits from it. When I was in deep pain, the last thing I felt like was being loving. I wanted to be isolate, to be selfish, to be angry, to lash out, to not care for anybody else. I wanted to become narcissistic. And what that pain forced me to do was confront a core issue. Am I going to be loving only when it's convenient? Or am I going to be loving whether it's convenient or not? Am I going to be loving when I'm in pain and not in pain, or only when I'm not in pain? Because if I'm only loving when I'm not in pain, then I'm not a truly loving person. I'm only loving when it's convenient to me. And it really forced a refining of character, that if I want my life to be all about love, then I have to choose to be loving even when I'm in pain, when it goes against everything that I want to do. So 2 illustrations again from nature that were so helpful for me was the oyster. So the oyster gets this irritant, a piece of sand that gets inside its shell. It causes pain. What does the oyster do? It secretes a lubricant to deal with it, and it becomes a pearl. So the pain, instead of destroying the oyster, it allows it to make it even better, to make it more beautiful. And then to me, there's the classic illustration of coal and diamonds. So coal becomes a diamond. But how does coal become a diamond? How does it character get refined to be something so beautiful when it's so rough initially? Extreme heat and pressure over a period of time. That then refines the coal to become a diamond. And so to me, pain, if we allow it to and choose to allow it to change your character, has this refining process to create more beautiful, healthy character as we go along. So that's pain. Again, I just hope that it helps you get a new perspective on pain, begin to understand the pull of pain in your life and how you need to reparent yourself to change that, so that pain becomes a path of growth for you, not something just to be avoided or medicated.